Matthew, can I just get the Taylor Walker one out of the way early? What's his prognosis at the moment as it stands?
Yeah, he got quite a substantial knock to his neck. Probably we were extremely concerned early, but he's been cleared. So cleared, no concussion. So now we've just got to work through how his neck comes back. The decision was made for him not to play on, and he was part of that. He couldn't move his neck at all, and was not going to really be able to add value post the knock. So I guess it's a positive in a way, because for a short period of time there, we were quite concerned about what had actually happened. It looked like maybe he'd broken his arm or shoulder or possibly something along those lines, but he's okay. He's just a little bit stiff and sore at the moment.
So scans, no doubt, for him, or?
I'm not sure. We haven't gone into enough conversation around it, whether it needs scans at this point. It'll be one they'll probably let settle overnight. I'm sure he'll have some anti-inflams and some drugs to try and help him sleep through the night, but I can't give you a definitive answer on that just yet.
And just his loss, I mean, obviously such a key part of the forward structure that you've got. It's sort of, I mean, it'd be too easy to say Walker off, but after that, Brisbane sort of in the second half, you know, got their ball movement going, and you guys struggled a bit in attack. But yeah, just the impact, I guess, of you know, his loss on what you guys were trying to do in the attack line in forwards.
Yeah, I thought early they intercepted the ball a little more than we'd like, and we adjusted really well to that. You know, after probably half the first quarter, I thought we got our game going. We changed the way we were playing, and we used Billy Frampton a little more. Obviously, Harris Andrews and Adams, they're both great players and in really good form. They were impacting the game early, but I thought we worked our way around that and, you know, began to play some really good football prior to Tex going out. So from an impact on the game, there's no doubt it impacted us because it allowed them to change their matchups. And Adams came across and went to Frampton. And but in saying that, you know, you also take out experience that Tex has, and when you talk about how many games we had forward of the ball, compared to Brizzy, who were very good forward of the ball, you know, they were outstanding the way they finished when the ball went in. They've got an experienced forward line, and Bailey was outstanding. Cameron, when he had his opportunities, made the most of them. Sometimes incredibly, got to go between the big sticks, and we weren't quite doing that at the other end. We missed, you know, some opportunities we should have put away, and the ball goes length of ground. It's a 12-point turnaround. So in the end, they were too good for us in the last. On the scoreboard, it wasn't necessarily all stats. We competed all day with them, and I think the inside 50s in the last were 13-14 or thereabouts. So we had our chances. We just couldn't convert in front of goal. And amazing what scoreboard pressure can do and what it can do when you don't put it through the big sticks.
Andy, that second half that Brisbane produced, is that the best footy that your team's come up against this season?
Well, look, we knew coming in that we'd probably see some of the best footy we'd seen. That Brizzy, they're in a really good, sweet spot at the moment. They've got a lot of players that have played together and have come through right from the start. They're a fantastic footy side. They're well coached. Massive amount of respect for Fags and what he's doing up there. And so we knew it'd be a really tough game for us. They're just so much class. When they get their opportunities, they make the most of them. They're tough and they're strong around the footy. We showed some of that during the night, which was the most pleasing. We showed that, you know, we're not far off, but we still have, you know, things we need to improve on, parts of our game that we must get better at. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves, unfortunately, on the receiving end of some losses.
What was the most disappointing aspect of that margin or the second half of the game blowing out for you?
Oh, if you look at the margin was, you know, in the end, we sat and reviewed as a group and talked through the game. The margin in the end, I didn't feel represented the game at all. I thought we fought it out well. And we tried a number of things in the last quarter. We moved Tom Duday forward. You know, the success we had through the second quarter where we had 3 tools ahead of the ball, we tried that in the last, and we weren't able to give Tom or the key forwards quite enough opportunity. We tried some things around the footy as well. You know, when you're 3 or 4 goals down, there are things you do as a coaching group and as a playing group to try to. You'd rather lose by 5 or 6 goals than not try and do something different. So we did that. We did that in the last, unfortunately, against a really good side that are going to punish you for any mistakes. You would have seen towards the end of the game, there's a few goals out the back where, unfortunately, we're a little bit aggressive. We've gone a little bit too far the attacking side, and we've been exposed. So, no, again, it was a disappointment that we didn't get the job done in the end, and disappointing to finish, with a team running over. So I think they kicked 8 goals after the 23 minutes gone in the third quarter. So, but we did release our players a little bit and take the game on a bit more than we normally would.
How much of a toll do you think the hectic week and back and forth took on the team, sort of coming out of the game now, looking back on it?
No, it didn't affect us at all. We took the entire squad across to Melbourne. We all flew back. Our SANFL put on a really good performance this afternoon against the top side in Glenelg. They came out to play. We did the same. I felt like our guys came out to play again today. There was nothing there that would say we weren't right to go. So no, it didn't affect us.
Just a word on Luke Peder, obviously showed his bash and crash that you obviously like. What did you make of his first up performance?
Well, I thought he showed us probably what we thought we'd see. He fits in. The conditions were great for him because it was a little bit slippery on top of the deck, and he enjoys the contest. So he put his head over it a number of times. He played a couple of different roles. He went on ball in the last quarter and got to throw his body around. I think he showed enough to, for our members and our supporters to feel, reasonably excited about what's to come as he gets a little bit more experience under his belt and a few more games. He's going to be a fantastic player for this footy club. We had, we were really pleased and lucky to have Chris McDermott come in and present him with his jumper pre-game. So to have player one for the footy club come in and present, and the way Chris went about his football, they're very similar in the way they do it. They're hard at the footy, and I think he's going to have a great career ahead of him.
Part of your struggle, or I guess the debate at selection now is, you got obviously Murphy, Lynch, and a few more experienced blokes going, but you obviously want to get a few games into the younger ones. How do you, I guess, balance that up for the remainder of the season?
Well, we don't have a lot of choice. We'll be playing a young group because that's our squad. I think we're the youngest group in the competition. But those experienced guys you talk about in Lynch and Murphy, they played today. It was Lynch's first game back, and I think he kicked 3 in the end. So, he's obviously a class player and very good in front of goal, and probably would have been nice today to have that finish. But there'll be a period of time that he needs to get his game back to the level to be able to perform at AFL. Murph's played his second now, so if they deserve to come into the side, they'll come into the side at a point when we look at the things we value in the way we play our footy. If they're given that at SANFL level and the guys at AFL aren't, well, that's how we select the side. It's not selected around young guys playing. We had a great squad. We made some decisions this week around our forward line because we've got a squad of forwards that are playing good footy, and we'll continue to pick the side that way.
You mentioned continuing to attack the game and not worrying that what effect that might have on the scoreboard. How does that affect you as a coach get to where you want to go quicker? How do you send that message to your players?
Well, as a coach, you'd like to be in a position where the opposition need to do that more often. And that was there tonight if we'd finished in front of goal. At times where the game was really tight, we had opportunities to score, and we could have found ourselves in front and maybe forced Brisbane to change their game. That's not the case at the moment, and they were far too classy for us in front of goal, and they finished their opportunities, and so we were forced to change our game. But to answer your question from a coaching point of view, it happens really quickly, and it's about experiencing this and learning from it as we're doing. we're winning games and we're learning from other games. As a coach, I'd love for our players to just find that extra bit of polish, finish in front of goal, and then experience, a team changing their game so that, teams, I'd say Brisbane would say they put their foot on our throat in that last quarter. Well, we'd like to be on the other side of that sooner than later.
We knew he wasn't going to take a backward step, obviously knowing the way he plays, but Sloane certainly tested out that finger pretty early with that full-length diving smother in the middle of the ground. Have you spoken to him about how he's feeling at all, obviously playing through it?
I haven't, to be honest. He hasn't. I've spoken to him post-game, but we didn't once talk about the hand, which that might actually be a good thing. He didn't bring it up and I didn't bring it up. So I'm pretty sure I watched him play today. He didn't think twice about the hand. There were a number of times he dove on the footy and gave a typical Sloane effort. So I'm pretty sure he'll pull up well. And we're not sure exactly where we head next week. I think there's talk about possibly a Friday night game. So I'm sure he'll prepare himself to do it again.
So just to clarify, Matt, you guys now expect to stay in Adelaide unless there's some sort of COVID outbreak here, or is there any clarity for the next week or so? Or
that's the expectation at the moment, that we'll be staying here. And I guess our next game is against the Bombers. It's a matter of where that is and when. We assume that would be in Melbourne as it sits, with the borders as they are. It's just now a matter of when that game is played. There has been talk about Friday night, but I'm not. That hasn't been confirmed as yet. So we'll just prepare for the week as though we're playing the Bombers, and we'll be ready to be flexible again. Just before we finish up, because I know Reece will finish up, I wouldn't mind just congratulating Shawnee Burgoyne too on his 400th. I know he's going into that one, and this is a player that played when I played, so that's saying something. Incredible silk. He's an unbelievable footballer. So, mate, well done and all the best. I just wanted to congratulate him from the Adelaide Footy Club and all of our players. It's amazing how many of our guys look up to him and what he's been able to do.
Do you have to chase him around at any stage when you're at the Swannies, or?
I did. Go back. I had an afro as well back in those days.
I don't know what to say to that. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, boys.
Cheers, man.